Welcome to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where emotions and baking are the two most perfect ingredients. Hello, and welcome back to the Emotionally Baked podcast, where we talk about something, our emotions, all while baking something yummy in the hopes of baking it out and working it out and all the things. So, welcome back to our next episode. Today is positivity and pistachio cake. And this is a recipe that is famous in my house for the holidays, and you'll see why, because it's just amazing and festive. And yeah, my birds are just going to be chirping. I'm sorry. That's just what they're going to do. I cannot get them to be quiet. So anyway, so this is coming out right before the holidays. So if you celebrate, Merry Christmas. And if not, I hope you're having a wonderful day. So we are going to, this recipe is from my grandma, and it's on a very old recipe card. Look at that. I think that's so fun. A vintage card. So much fun. And it's a one bowl recipe that I can just go ahead and whisk up in. And I'm not using my favorite bowl because I am going to do a lot of whisking. And I kind of like a metal bowl for that. So that's what we're going to do. And this cake, we're going to make pretty and festive and fun. So we're going to be using a Bundt cake. Now my Bundt cake has all these like pretty little flutes on it. So whatever kind you have makes it look really pretty. So this recipe calls for a yellow cake mix, 3 packs of instant pistachio pudding, and she recommended you use the royal pudding. Any of it works, whether it's Jello brand, your store-bought brand, anything works, it's fine. And a half a cup of oil, 4 eggs, and a cup of water. Now friends, you've been on here, if you've watched every episode, 42 episodes, I have always used my chicken's eggs. This will be the first episode I have not used my chicken's eggs because they are taking a little break right now as they molt and refeather and get ready for winter. So I haven't had an egg from them in a little bit, and so I actually had to buy eggs for the first time in a store in a long time, and that was so weird. Anywho, so thank you to whoever chickens lay these. I don't know, not mine. However, I will say, the reason why I was talking about positivity is I was trying to be positive today because, speaking of chickens and my chickens and all the things, one of my chickens passed away today. Oh, guys, it's always heartbreaking, no matter if they're pets or if they're, they're whatever. It's always heartbreaking when something like that happens. And we actually we don't know how she died. She was in the run, and so I don't know if something was wrong with her. So I looked at my camera. We have a camera on the coop at all times. And literally for 3 hours yesterday, the camera was off while she passed. To me, that's very suspicious. I'm like, what happened? Like, I don't know why it didn't record. It doesn't make any sense. So we shall see. So I'm still a little iffy on that. Anyway, so yeah, trying to be positive because it is sad when stuff like that happens. And I poured in my cup of water and I have my 4 eggs in here. And I'm just going to open all these Jello packs and put them in. It's just a lot of dumping, whisking, and baking, letting it bake. So that's all we're doing. So if you're finding it hard this is why it's festive. Pistachio is green. It's going to look so pretty. Okay. I find it sometimes to be hard to be positive at certain times, especially like you lost a pet or you just have a lot of stressful things going on, and trying to think of the positivity of it all is kind of hard. So I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about being positive and how can we do that in light of things that are maybe stressful or sad, all that kind of thing. So being positive, I don't want to say is natural to me. Maybe it's natural to some people to have a positive personality. I know, the reason why I'm saying I don't think I do is that I've seen people with a positive personality where like everything is good and everything is all, and doesn't matter, they're super positive all the time. And I really envy that people can be positive and just always have a optimistic outlook on life and things. It really is amazing to me that some people can just, oh, don't forget the half a cup of oil. So I have everything in here except for the half a cup of oil. So this recipe is super easy. It doesn't have a lot of ingredients, but it is really yummy in terms of flavor. If you like pistachio, it is, and it's light. Using the cake mix makes it light. So, and now it's just a whole bunch of whisking. All right. So yeah, so seeing people who have that positivity just naturally flow out of them, I am super envious of that. It does, I feel like that does require a certain something to have all that always part of you to be naturally positive. I really envy that of people. So if you're like me and you aren't constantly positive and optimistic, how do we become optimistic and positive? And well, I think what it is like a silver lining thing. We look at the silver, or we see what the silver lining is like in a situation. Like, even though I lost one of my chickens today, I'm trying to think, okay, but I have 6 more and it's okay. And looking back on, what they've given me and the joy and the eggs and all the things, like, I'm very happy that I got, that time and all the things. And yes, it's sad, but we have to look at the blessing as well. So that could be one way of being positive in a not so great situation. With stressful things. So with stressful things in that, there's just so much going on. So now I'm going to just put, look at how pretty this is. It is so green. So green, so pretty. So I'm just putting this in the Bundt pan. All of it in the Bundt pan. So busyness, I'm actually going to say that, the silver lining is if I wasn't busy, or I'm just trying to think of like, I am grateful to be busy because the busy means that I have people and I have, I have family and I have all these, wonderful things that are happening, and not to take that for granted. I did spray this pan before I put this in here. So please spray your pan because it will not come out, especially a Bundt pan. So yeah, I'm super grateful for, I'm looking at it as being grateful for the busyness because I have people in my life, I have family. So that's, that's a good thing to look at for the positive of the stress, even though it's stressful, gotta look at the positive of it. Okay. So that was, see how quick and easy that recipe was? Like literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients, super simple. And I'm gonna go ahead and it says bake at 350 for an hour. I preheated my oven just a little higher because I'm gonna also put in some, I'm doing cookies at the, I'm trying to do too much, I know. So I'm just gonna keep an eye on this. At 375, it only might take 45 minutes. But I just always test it and keep going until it's done. Now the cool part about this is when it's done and cooled, I sprinkle it with powdered sugar so it looks like snow on top, and it just looks so pretty. So let me set this in the oven and we'll talk a little bit more about being positive. Okay, so let's see, what other instances what can we, for those of us who need to work on our positivity. I'm trying to think of some scenarios. Lately, I live in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area, and the traffic and the drivers have been, let's just say, special. This time of the year, it is super, super stressful. The holiday traffic driving is just something, it's crazy. And, I do get frustrated while I'm driving and with people. And so it's hard to be positive in those situations because, but I think, I might get frustrated, but I'm still, my friends call me the grandma driver. I'm the driver who doesn't, I follow the rules and I go really slow and all the things. So I just, even though there's crazy drivers out there and all the things, and today I had somebody pass me on a 2-lane, on a double yellow, just a side-by-side 2-lane road. I was going I wasn't going under the speed limit, but I wasn't like speed. Oh my goodness. But anyway, and I get frustrated, but then I just think, and I try to be positive. Like, I hope they get there safe, and I want to get there safe. So always looking at the silver lining of that, and just like, okay, we're all going to just be safe and get there safe. So yeah, some things take a lot of like retraining of our minds. Because I know, like, when we were going through all the things that happened with this house, and we're still happening with the house, trust me, there's still things going on that that we're still dealing with, and it's frustrating and all the things. But yeah, the positivity, or looking at the silver lining of it, is that at least we still have a roof over our head, even if it's leaking. It's not leaking anymore, but then with all of our heating and air conditioning woes and all the stuff, still positive silver lining. We have a roof over our heads. Some stuff might be falling apart. At least be positive. And I will say, like, while I am envious of those who are positive most of the time, when you see them or you're encountering them being positive, I'm sure even those people have moments where they need to remind themselves that, like, what does their positivity look like, and how do they manifest it? Because I've had comments every now and then, like, like if I was not so positive and somebody clocked it and was like, but you're always such a positive, happy person. Why, why are you sad or whatever? And to that, I want to say, like, to maybe just say to people who would say that, is like, some of us, we might come across as always happy, but we're all human, and we all have our ups and our downs, our positive days and our not so positive days, and grace is a great thing. So, just because a positive person is positive, you see them and they're positive all the time, doesn't always mean that they're 100% always going to be positive. So if they have a day where they need, grace, that's when we really should, give the grace. Definitely. And yeah, I know that I need grace a lot, because my positivity comes and goes. Like, some days I'm super positive and other days not so much. But yeah. So this baking is going to take quite a while. So this is one that I like also because I can literally mix it up super quick, leave it in, set a timer, and get to doing other things. What are the other things that I'm going to do, you ask? I made a batch of gingerbread, and I can even smell it. I can smell it from here. I'm going to be making some gingerbread cookies. I'm having some family over tonight, and I'm going to be making some gingerbread cookies to go along with the cake. Not really to eat together, but just because they're cute and it will look cute together. So I was going to record a recipe for this, and I did not get to do it. However, so I was just going to I was thinking about making comments. So the cake, it called for 4 eggs. Now, granted, since I don't have any eggs for my chickens right now, if I had a recipe that just had like 1 egg, I would substitute, even like 2, I would substitute with applesauce if I didn't have an egg. However, when it gets to about like 3, 4, more than that, I don't substitute, because I don't feel like when it needs that many eggs, I feel like there was something meant in that recipe. Like, it needs the egg consistency. Applesauce does hold up well for cookies and such. I did make these with applesauce, so these do have applesauce in them, which should make them super soft. And I'm telling you now, when I do cut out cookies, whether it's sugar cookies or gingerbread, those are the 2 I normally do. I roll those. My dough is not thin. I do not like a thin cookie. I like a good, soft and fluffy and yummy, gooey cookie. So using applesauce really does help make them nice and fluffy. So that's why I did the 4 eggs in the cake, because 4 is too many to substitute, I believe. It's just too many. All right. So I'm going to get working on just rolling out some gingerbread. And yeah, we will see the end product here in a while, in a bit. So yeah. Okay, well, thanks for joining me today on Emotionally Baked and our topic of positivity. And I know it's short, but hey, this is the holiday time, and if you had time to even watch this, I am impressed. Like, go get something done. I'm super impressed that you stayed along and watched it, or even just even bothered to click on it today. So if you did, thank you so much for doing that and watching this. And go and have some fun with your family. Do something fabulous. Bake something fabulous and yummy. And just remember, whether the salt in your recipe comes from tears or a teaspoon, we baked it out. Have a good one. Happy holidays. And we will talk soon. Bye.